Good afternoon. Wow. So we've got a ghost in the chat today because I don't think anybody could live after drinking 2 liters of sake. Wow. Oh, man. I'll tell you, it's been another day of beating my head up against the computer. But, well, I'm the same place I was yesterday. However, I will get this figured out. I don't understand why I'm having the issue, but I think I'm shooting myself in the foot a couple of times is what I'm doing. Because a lot of times I forget, and I think that's a problem that I'm having here. It seems like the last time that I ran into this, which was when I very first started playing with this. It seems like when I uploaded the files with the root account, what they call the root account, that I couldn't actually go in and do what I needed to do from there. So today I went in and changed some PHP settings, and and it's still not working. So I think essentially what I did is today when I changed those PHP settings, I actually broke it, and so now it's just a matter of doing the operating system again, and then what I'll do is I'll upload the files from the user account instead of the root account, and I have a feeling that it's going to fix it. I'm also going to switch by recommendation to a different panel because I'm using the CentOS web panel. I was highly recommended to use the Webman panel. Now that I've got the propagation issue fixed, now that should no longer be an issue. So, good deal. So, it's a matter of doing it, and I haven't had a chance to redo it. I actually, I had to have a nap today. I laid down for maybe about 30 minutes or so, 30, 45 minutes. Oh, like an hour? Okay, maybe I squeezed an hour in there. I was going to read, and because folks, I don't get much time to be able to do my stuff. Not that I have a lot of stuff that I do, but I don't get much time. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna just lay on the futon. I'm gonna read a little bit, relax my mind. Yeah, that wasn't happening. I don't even think I might have got through a page. And then I was like, you know what? I am going to take a nap. So I laid down and I took a little bit of a nap. I feel better. I just started sipping on my coffee. I woke up and I got to looking at my email and had some issues with the Prepper Nurse 1 site. And so I had something that had to be dealt with immediately. So I dealt with that, gave him a call, and dealt with that. Thought everything was good, and the phone rang. I was taking Blue out and getting coffee ready, and the phone rang, and yeah, a big issue on the site. But I've got that all fixed. Today is the last day of that sale, so I'm going to pimp that one more time, folks. He's got an awesome sale over there at PrepperNurse1.com. Today is the last day, and everything's working correctly. I can confirm that. So anyway, wow, let's go ahead and get into the where we are financially, which is pretty much the same place we were financially, and we'll get on with the news stories and my rant, because I've got a rant today, as if I don't any other day. But you know, there's certain bones to pick on with me, and they done picked the bone. So anyway, let's run through this real quick. YouTube, yeah, pretty much the same place. Boy, we're getting rich, aren't we? $3.53. We lost a couple subs. Bye, Felicia. So that is what it is. I don't, you guys know me. I don't care about the numbers. I care about the truth. I care about having a great audience. I care about having an audience that wants the truth, whether they like it or not, because we're not here to please people. We're not here to not offend people. We're here to tell you the truth, plain and simple. So let's see. And folks that can't handle that, not going to like this show very well. Let's see. Let me move to Steam It, or DLive essentially. Didn't really do much of anything as far as yesterday. Nothing in for that. So that amount here isn't going to be available for 4 days. And then this one here is not going to be available for 6 days, and that would put this one at 6 or 5 days. So that's where we are there. Let me show you AdSense. Nothing today so far. Yesterday we had a 61 cent, and so far this month, $10.23. And so I believe tomorrow that will move over into the balance, and we start over in the estimated. So that is where we are on AdSense. So let me get these closed out so we can get to the meat and potatoes of things. Assad says Syria to beef up air defenses amid threat from Israel. Let's see. Bashar Assad says we were close to direct conflict between Russia and U.S. inside Syria. Well, I think that's pretty much a given. I really do. And I think they were trying, well, I think the U.S. was trying to get Russia without making it look so obvious. So, potential trade conflict with the EU up to the U.S., says the French finance minister. Folks, today the economy, things going on in the economic world are a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Stopping political Islam, Denmark bans Islamic full-face veil in public places. London distorts Salisbury accident, tries to use OPCW. I'm telling you, they are doing some crazy stuff with all this. Stabbing attack in Saudi city of Taif kills 1. Speaking of that, and I can't remember which country or city it is, but they're wanting to ban pointed knives. In other words, they want even your kitchen knives to have to have a rounded tip. Okay, because that's going to kill or stop people from killing people because they no longer have a sharp pointing tip, and it's impossible, right? It's not even possible for a human being to sharpen the tip of any kind of an object like a knife to make it a point, right? Because laws are laws. If somebody buys a blunt-tipped knife, right? If it's against the law to sharpen it to a point, they won't do it. They'll just kill people with the blunt tip, right? Because killing is not a crime, right? Oh, wait a minute. Killing is a crime. Wait, so they don't pay attention to that? Oh. So, in other words, these are a bunch of dumbasses is what we're talking about. A bunch of dumbasses. Now that we've cleared that up, really? I mean, first they try to ban knives in public, right? Now they're trying to ban pointed kitchen knives. It's insane. It is, I don't know what to say. It's insane. U.S. slaps Europe, Canada, and Mexico with steel and aluminum tariffs. This is going to really start a bad thing. And like I told you, this is what's needed to happen. So when I talk about this stuff, I'm not speaking out against these tariffs, folks. We need these tariffs. This is what we have to have. If we want to become economically stable again, we have to have these tariffs. And this is just something people need to understand. However, the problem is that in itself is going to economically hurt this country in the short term, okay? But in the long term, it's going to help us. So, I've been saying this for a long damn time. A long before I even this show was a little thought. I'd been saying this for probably 30 years about how they need to put tariffs on the imports because that was taking our jobs away, and that the only way that we could get back our jobs was to make it competitive. And the only way you can make it competitive is say, okay, well, if you're going to make a product for 50% less and ship it over here, and in cost is 50% less for the consumer, then we're going to have to put a 50% tax on that, because either they have to pay for our employees being out of work, or they have to, or our citizens for being out of work, or we have to have the ability to be competitive in a local market, a U.S.-based, U.S. manufactured market. That's the only option. It's free trade also needs to be fair trade, and that's the only way it can be fair trade. When you're paying children, minuscule amounts of money to work like slaves, right? How can you compete with that in a country like the United States that doesn't do that? So that is what we are up against, and I've said it a million times. When Bush Sr. said we need to better compete in the global economy, what he essentially was saying is we need to lower our standards of living, okay? Because that's exactly what that meant. Because if your child is not working 60 hours a week in a sweatshop, guess what? You have a higher standard of living than China, where most of our products are coming from. So in order to better compete in the global economy, we have to get closer to that model. Okay? It's pretty simple. It really is. I know it's great to be able to go out and buy a lot of this stuff cheap as dirt, but it's hurting ourselves. It's hurting ourselves. So anyway, again, it's a temporary thing, though. Just understand that. Bad day for world trade. Brussels vows to retaliate against U.S. tariffs in coming hours. Sears is closing 72 more stores via Fox 2 Now. Well, not because of Fox 2 Now, but who knows? They could have heard a couple more stores. It's a pretty sucky news channel. President Trump signs the Right to Try Act. And you know what? I'm one of those people that I will commend somebody where it is due. And I have to give 2 big old thumbs up to Trump on this one. Thank you, President Trump. Very, very much. What this does, now this is just terminally ill patients. I'm hoping that maybe this gets expanded beyond terminally ill. But what this is this allows terminally ill patients to be able to try new drugs that aren't yet approved by the FDA. In other words, it will help out the testing, because look, if you're dying, right, don't it seem kind of stupid for the government to step in and say, we know you're dying and all, but you can't try this drug that might save your life because it could kill you. What? Are you serious? So, 2 big old thumbs up to Trump. Thank you very much for doing that. And I hope it saves lives. I hope there are some pharmaceutical companies out there that are actually doing good work. So, and I'm sure there are. It's just not the big ones. Let's see. Trump says denuclearization of North Korea would cover its missiles. Well, yeah, that's what denuclearization is. Duh. Houthi rebels down military helicopter in southwest of Saudi Arabia. Trump probably setting up Kim for talks destined to fail, says an analyst. Kim's sister hovers like the lady of the house. RT reporter visits North Korea's inner sanctum. That sounds dirty, doesn't it? The RT reporter was in Kim's inner sanctum. I'm just getting that look. All right, so let me get down to ye old bitch article, because, Ben, I'm telling you, and I use this example all the time. I tweeted this out last night. I tagged Aaron in it, and in the comments of it, and I use this example all the time, okay? And I put on there, as you can see in the tweet, I put on there, I use this example all the time to prove how the idea that we have freedom with the registered mark is total bullshit. Well, bullshat there, but... Denver cops shut down lemonade stand run by boys ages 4 and 6. It didn't take long before somebody called police on the kids selling lemonade, or for selling lemonade. Everybody was having a good time on Memorial Day until somebody called the cops on the children selling lemonade to neighbors across the street from a park in Denver. Denver police wasted no time in shutting the lemonade stand down for operating without a permit, putting a good scare into the kids, including the 6-year-old who took off running and the 4-year-old who started crying. This is not how we want our children to grow up, is it? This is how they want them to grow up, but this isn't how we should want them to grow up, right? What needed to happen there right then at that moment is some real adults, with testicles, should have walked up and started knocking people in the damn face. That's what needs to happen. I'm just going to lay it all out right in front here. Because it's not going to stop until people hit the fucking dirt. Pardon my language. But when it involves kids, you done pissed me off. Plain and simple. I will not play when it comes to kids. And when you intimidate a fucking kid because you've got a badge, you need to hit the fucking dirt. I'm sorry. I will absolutely lose it when it comes to kids. That is the one thing you do not screw with. They were selling lemonade in a country in which they are guaranteed in the Constitution to be able to sell their wares. God, it gets me. I'm sorry, but when that the part about the kid crying. Oh my God. What have we come to? Let me continue. Jennifer Knowles, mother of the 2 boys, later learned that there is no law or policy requiring the kids to obtain a license to set up a temporary stand for neighbors. So there wasn't even a problem with the problem, right? But yet we scared the hell out of 2 little kids. All because, I don't think they should be able to run a lemonade stand over there. I don't think you should be able to breathe. She said she encouraged her children to set up a lemonade stand on Monday as part of, and this one, these next 2 parts. She said she encouraged her children to set up a lemonade stand on Monday as part of a summer project where she planned to teach them business and entrepreneurial skills. She also wanted to teach them how to donate to worthy causes. So they picked a 5-year-old boy from Indonesia whom they were going to help. But if the kids learned anything, it is not to trust police. This is sad. This is sad. We should be able to trust law enforcement, don't you think? It should be okay. We shouldn't see a gun and a badge and cower in fear. That's nuts. That is nuts. It's really insane. According to Denver 7, they got a lot of people coming and praising the boys and telling them that they were doing a great job, Knowles said. That was so good for my boys to hear and for them to interact with people they've never met before in a business way. But just a half an hour into their business venture, police arrived. See how quick they respond to that? I know, within a half an hour, and I've told you guys this story before, I had 2 neighbors that were a pain in my butt. And we had a car break down on us, a car go down. It had a cracked head, so it was going to be a little bit before it got going again. So we had a car that was in the back, And it's seen its better days. The power steering didn't work and stuff like that, but still, it was drivable. I would trust it to drive to California and back. The car ran good. It, just had some minor issues. So we went, and I had a tarp over it in the back because per city's bullshit. And so I had a tarp on it, and I went back there, and I pulled the tarp off of it. The plates were expired because we didn't drive it. Why pay for plates on a vehicle that you're not going to drive? So we pulled the insurance off of it. We didn't renew the plates, and per city's bullcrap, we put a tarp on the car. So I went in the back, I removed the tarp, and I drove it up front, popped the hood, checked the belts, hoses, fluids, all that good stuff, and told the wife at the time, okay, go get the plates renewed, call insurance, get that switched over, blah blah blah, and so anyway, within 30 minutes of me pulling that car up front, I had officers at the door because a neighbor had called because I had a derelict vehicle parked in the yard, or parked in the driveway, and I'm like, it's not derelict, and they're like, well, the plates are expired on it. Yeah, she's going to go take care of that. Does people have time to take care of these things? And that actually started a pretty serious issue here in town. It really did. That wound up as what got me called into the police department so they could talk to me about my intent. Okay, which my intent was to say, we're not going to take it in a Twisted Sister kind of manner. Because enough is enough. Enough is enough. I didn't do anything wrong. Nobody did anything wrong. So if somebody's not doing something wrong, they shouldn't be harassed by a government operative acting under the color of law. Acting under the color of law. These are things we have to remember, folks. All this whole thing that we see in front of us is a sham. It's a charade. And the only way it's accepted is because we accept it. City ordinances are not lawful. They're not. They're not lawful. City ordinances are not approved in any way, shape, or form in the Constitution. They're not. It's a shame. It really is. I'm one of those people that I believe if somebody's not harming you, causing you harm, direct harm, I'm not talking about offending you and giving you butt hurt, I mean harm, then everybody should leave them alone. Everybody. Government, other people. I'm one of those leave them the hell alone kind of guys. Anyway, let me continue. The police officers came over and they said that because my boys and I did not have permits for a lemonade stand, they shut us down and we had to stop immediately, she said. My boys were crushed. They were devastated. And I can't believe that happened. I remember as a child, I always had lemonade stands and never had to worry about being shut down by police officers. I mean, that's unheard of. Wrong, lady. It's not unheard of. Not at all. It happens all the time. It was a scary experience for the kids and something that the Knowles says shouldn't have happened. My 6-year-old, he saw the police officers coming over and he ran and he hid, she said. My 4-year-old came over and was looking at the police officer and heard what he was saying. He started to frown and then started to cry, and it made me want to cry because they were so upset. Makes me want to scream, can you tell? It was only after they had shut down the stand that she did some research and learned that there are no state or city laws prohibiting kids from operating a lemonade stand without a permit. The local media confirmed it. Denver 7 reached out to the permitting department. A spokesperson said there are no rules explicitly prohibiting a lemonade stand, but there are also no rules protecting it. Communications program manager, there is a rule protecting it, by the way. It's called the Second Amendment. Communications Program Manager Alexandra Foster said her department does not typically go out and enforce its permitting rules against children. However, if a call is made, if somebody is butthurt, somebody is offended, they will send the big white lady out to bitch about the black people barbecuing in the park. However, if a call is made to the police about a certain lemonade stand blocking traffic, for instance, the family could be asked to shut the lemonade stand down. She added that temporary stands typically don't need a permit, but if a stand was set up on a regular basis, that it might. See, these laws are so vague, right? And the Constitution guarantees you that you have a right to freely trade, right, without the government getting involved. It's interesting. If our inspectors go to a lemonade stand, it means we've received a complaint. And generally, complaints stem from high levels of activity or noise that disrupts neighbors, Foster told Denver 7. So generally, as long as the impact is minimal, we're happy to let kids have fun in the summer. Let me reread that. We're happy to let kids have fun in the summer. Okay. Let me get something straight right now. We let the government operate. They do not let us operate. We let them operate. If you don't believe me, go read the Declaration of Independence. It is completely clear in there that we are the government, not the jackasses that fill the positions. Okay? We are the government. We are the ones that make the decisions, not them. We need to understand this, and we need to work towards getting back to this. Because the way it is now, it is absolutely so screwed, and it is such a slave system, it's unreal. And they've got people arguing about what is the legacy. Well, now the whole Roseanne thing is up on fire. But I mean, they've got people arguing about Yanni and Lonnie or whatever, about the black or the gold or the blue dress, right? But people aren't even talking about this problem. And this is the elephant in the room. This is the elephant in the room. Like I've said, there are two things that I see as far as Trump is concerned that I want to see things change. I want to see the Patriot Act repealed. I want to see the Smith-Mundt Act reinstated, right? But here's the other thing. I want to be able to see kids have a simple lemonade stand without being harassed for it. How about a bake sale at a school again? Wouldn't that be nice to have a bake sale at a school again without some bureaucratic bullshit in a suit and tie saying you can't do it because, oh my God, Tommy could put some type of acid inside of the cupcakes and really? Really? You don't think we would get to that? Look at all the damn buffets. How many buffet restaurants do we have out there? And yes, I do recall problems in the news with people going in and putting stuff into the buffet food. But really, what do you think the chances are that somebody's going to put something or get away with putting something in a bake sale good before they're going to get away with putting something in a buffet food? Seriously. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Simple little rules like, okay, each brownie has to be individually wrapped, which only makes sense, and most people would do that anyway. But no, they scrapped the entire bake sale. Why? Because they're bureaucratic dumbasses, right? And they took something, in my opinion, very important away from our school. Simple bake sales, yes. I bet right now, if you told these suit and tie pencil jockey jerks to go screw themselves and announced a bake sale, right? I bet you wouldn't be able to keep enough food on that table. I bet you couldn't. I bet you couldn't. Which is the truth. Why these pencil-sized peckered idiots done away with it in the first place. They either want to be able to control the income or stick their hand in a large part of it. And when you make an item at home and take it to school to sell for a fundraiser, they're not able to get that dip out of there like they want. However, if one of their approved corporations is the ones that's selling the product for the kids' fundraisers, well, hell, then they have total control. In fact, I wouldn't doubt if it wasn't some hypocritical piece of crap congressman that owned the fundraiser food company. Gotta watch that stuff. That's why they're pushing so hard for the drug test for welfare. Because it's congressional folks that own those testing companies. They're lining their pockets. They're lining their pockets. Have they ever talked about, do they ever talk about the $21 trillion that they lost? And that's just one instance. Have they ever talked about that $21 trillion? No. But they want you all up Solly's butt because she's on welfare. $21 trillion. You need to sit down with a pen and paper and you need to write that out. Not the trillion, I mean the zeros. Write the 21 trillion with numbers and take a look at it. Because I doubt you'll be bitching about Solly getting her $600 and some odd a month. Seriously. We've got to put things in perspective. We really, really do. Let's see. And then the very last thing it says is so the main question is, why did Denver police enforce a non-existent law? Because it's the gang. Right? The gang that you had to pay for protection and all that. Just like every other gang out there, the mob, I should say. Just like the mob was. Right? You got to pay your dues in order to get protection to operate your business. It's no different. It's no different. This one's just ran by the government, and the other ones were ran like by Italians. It's a joke. Settle down. I'm going to get taken off of YouTube for being racist. No, it's a joke. Seriously, though. A lot of the mafia and stuff, Italian. So, it fit. Anyway, have a laugh. It's seriously, though, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Just one's government sanctioned and government operated and owned. That don't make it okay. Whatsoever, that doesn't make it okay. But do me a favor. If you're ever at a child's lemonade stand and somebody comes up to shut them down, drop them on the ground. Knock them in the face as hard as you absolutely can, and do not be apologetic. Because until we take our country back, we're going to be dealing with this. Okay, this isn't something that just goes away. This isn't something that will fix itself. Okay, who do you expect to fix it? You're going to hire somebody in government or create a new government organization or administration to be able to fix the problem? You think that's going to work? I see a lot of people on the left and the right that think that. That think if they've got an entity within the government that will work a little harder for them to get their way, that it's going to fix it. When the truth of the matter is, we need a smaller government. Both a smaller leftist government, a smaller rightist government. We need a smaller government. We need less laws. We need less enforcement of the laws. We need less agencies. That's what we need to do. And we don't truly have a president or a government on our side until you start seeing these different agencies disappear and quick. Like the FBI and the CIA and the DOJ and the FDA and the EPA. And, oh my God, the EPA, who's got to keep our water clean? Really? You think the EPA is keeping your water clean? Is that why they're raising the amount of acceptable lead limits? Because they're worried about keeping you safe? My God, folks. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, I believe. I think so. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. I'm just going to double check myself because I don't want to be wrong, especially when it comes to the Bible. And it is correct. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. That works in this instance too, folks. The government will forget about you or forget about caring about you if you forget about your rights. This is important stuff. It's not just a couple of kids in a lemonade stand, folks. It goes much, much further than that. I want to thank those that just stopped by to watch the monologue, and we'll continue on with the rest of the live show. As always, we love you, God bless you, and be one with your spirit. Don't forget to punch the person in the face that tries to shut down the lemonade stand. Thank you.